Starting?
No, he's in Belize.
We hope.
We hope, or on his way, or
I think he gets Zoom.
You should be there, but
should be there. I haven't heard from him, so.
This time I will call this workshop meeting of Lavaca City Council to order on this Monday, June 2nd, 2025. It's 7:31 p.m.
No,
That's fine. 7:31 p.m.
All right, I'd like to adjourn.
Yeah, we've been here 2 hours. 5:31.
7:30.
We'll skip the usual formality. I will ask if anyone here is signed up to speak before council. Anybody wants to comment? See no one here, so you
You want to ask for a fire truck? Later
Later, yeah.
yeah, at a time when we can't respond. Okay, then we'll move on to our regular agenda, which agenda item number 1. Discuss amendments to the budgetary and finance management policies for the fiscal year 2025-2026.
Mayor and council, I had given this to you after last week's meeting, just to look over prior to this meeting for any feedback. Essentially, my goal was to consolidate some of our current policies into one, and then also add some things that we're already doing, and by law, we also have to do, and it's in our charter, but it's just not in policy form. So I don't know if anybody has any feedback already. Or do we want to just go one by one?
We have some though.
It's in the charter, but it's not in the policy form.
A lot of it is in the charter, it's just not in our financial policy.
So I had 2 comments. One is depreciation. In one area it says we don't budget depreciation. Another area it says that we allocate for depreciation. So I'm curious how that's shown in the budget. And then the other, it seems like the unassigned balance, 120 days. It looks like we added some statements that, so in my mind, that's emergency only. And we added some statements that said it could be used for maybe some other things.
Which page?
Yeah, it's across more than one page. So, but I mean, that's just kind of the general. Things that I noticed. So, let's see.
But I know I have on page 13, the actual policy for the general fund.
I have page numbers online, so,
You probably have the original.
yeah. General fund. Hold on. So if we want to go through an order, I guess on page.
Well, yeah, page 13 is the minimum unassigned fund policy.
But if we're gonna go, let's just do it in order, I guess, 1, 2. Are these in the same order? Okay. Okay, so on page 10,
Okay.
second paragraph. So. And this is just a question, it's not related to the 2 comments.
What's the heading? What's the heading?
Well, the heading's on the other page. It's right above proprietary funds.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when we have excess of $500 on federal cash balances, we have to give it back. I thought we were earning interest on this stuff.
You said it's right above the proprietary funds?
It's not anything you're changing, it's the existing. Yeah.
I had questions.
That's grant funds.
Yeah, that's grant
Is that
funds.
just federal? So state.
For payments, it's under federal and state
Or
grant.
something like
Yeah,
that.
it's federal and state grant funds.
It's, yeah, because the heading is federal and state grant funds, so specific that for grant funds.
That's easy then. Okay. So,
I think when finance committee went through it, the biggest thing we had questions about, which back and forth was going from 96 to 98 on the budgeting, right?
So in here, I do have a change to the revenue policy for the property tax scale from 96% to 98%. This is actually fairly common. I looked at a lot of other cities' policies and a lot of them actually do 98%. Now, I did go into our budget and add in, if we were to do 98%, what difference would that make? And essentially, we're just increasing our revenues by about $200,000.
200,000.
Now, and I did look, I just wanted to see a comparison of that line item. Since about 2017, we've been going over budget in that line item at least 6%. Since,
So we're getting more
Just keep-
As
revenue.
far as revenue,
yeah,
Yes.
so I still, in my opinion, I still think 98% is still pretty conservative. I mean, that is,
yeah, so we used to with sales tax, we were at 95 and then we got rid of that a few years ago. Just budgeted 100% of projected. And so, yeah. But I don't know, I feel comfortable having a little extra dollars there just in case you need it, but it seems like we go over every year.
Well, I mean,
every year so far.
yeah, I mean, one thing with sales tax, we don't have anyone else telling us. Yeah. That's an internal decision, whereas with property tax, we do have, the appraisal district tells us what we expect, so that's probably a little more of a sure thing than even the sales tax is. Sales tax is just, it's internal analysis and looking at, I mean, we don't get anything from the comptroller's office telling us what to expect next year. So it's just, that's more,
I think just by looking at the percentage that we keep going over budget every single year would at least, necessitate the extra 2%.
Is it 4% over every year?
Actually, the past 3 years, it's been 10%.
So how would that be if we're budgeting 4% under what the number they're giving us
I
is?
think a lot of it also has to play out as things change with property taxes as well. So when we get that July 25th from the CAD, some of those property taxes are under ARB review as well. So it's just, I can't really dive into logistics.
and I think it also includes stuff we're getting from previous years.
Oh, yeah, the delinquent, but that one line item though, that 96% though, that is just current.
Okay, that's correct.
Doesn't include the delinquent.
So, I mean, it's just kind of a slush fund, so I mean, that's just in case, something else goes over, we got a little extra money available in case we need it. That's the whole reason for under budgeting.
Well, and that's, I mean, the other thing, what we had talked about budget for, but then we want to increase from 180 days to 190 days or something,
Yeah.
to offset that.
But we're also adding 0.5%. Right? Isn't that new, that 0.5% contingency?
That's in the charter.
Okay, but that wasn't in the policy.
It wasn't in the policy. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you were. It just wasn't in the policy. That one in the general fund and non-departmental.
Contingency line item.
Yeah, we've always done that. It just
Yeah, it's just.
didn't say it anywhere other than the charter.
It's never gotten to the financial policies.
Ambivalent on this one.
And then, of course, I've added in the beginning, language on our annual audit that we have to have, just stating that we have to have an outside auditor here. And then obviously I did put some language in there that we can cycle out the auditor as well. This doesn't necessarily mean that we have to get a whole new auditor, but we can, if we want to.
But we're making a statement that we're going to make a definitive review at least every 5 years
Yes.
to make that decision.
We did do that,
We
but
did
I
do that.
guess it wasn't in the policy. Yeah, no, that's a lot of good stuff added. Okay, so on the depreciation then, so I guess on page 10, the first red paragraph, the last line, depreciation and compensation. So it's just, I guess, for proprietary funds, but depreciation and compensated assets, they're not recognized as budgeted expenses. But then later, pages later, again, so my pages are numbered.
I think that the original policy that was already in here was, in my eyes, I guess, it's kind of contradicting.
Okay.
And I have, that's still in here as well. I think, let me find the page for it.
Says it's reserved for fixed asset replacement equal to 1 year's depreciation of all that.
Yeah, it says it for the public utilities and it does say it for the general fund.
Yeah.
But I was under the impression that public utility fund couldn't. I mean, and it states that the depreciation would be for the fixed asset replacement, but I was always under the impression that that fixed asset replacement fund was not meant for public utilities.
Yeah, it was not.
But if you
It was for-
read that, it kind of means, I mean, I guess maybe the way that I'm reading it, it's.
Well, we
Seemed like
usually
a-
have the depreciation line item.
Okay.
to-
I mean, it's still there. It is still there because that's where all the depreciation expense is going. I just think that you guys we aren't budgeting in that line item.
Right, but we budgeted and then that was money that wasn't spent in one year, then it would roll into the next year. And then after a couple, 3 years, you had enough money to do a capital project. So that was the thought process back then.
I think just going through other people's or other cities' policies, I didn't see any language on depreciation being budgeted for. So I don't know if that's a dead concept or.
So how do we account for it then? So other statements that say we will equal to 1 year's depreciation on all assets. So, I mean, if it's not a line item, how is that recognized?
It's not recognized in the budget. I mean, there's a line item there because there's still an expense going to depreciation every year whenever we do our fixed assets. It's just not, it's not being actually budgeted for expense. It's just for reporting purposes.
So Shannon later read, it says, yeah, well, so I guess, I mean.
Same concept with the compensated absence.
Can we put in for that, so it doesn't say two different things? I guess that's the point. Maybe it's, you know.
Which page is that on?
Page 10, it's the first.
Tim has the first.
Expense.
So.
This is my page. But then the second one,
10 and page 14.
14.
That's in relation to what?
Yeah, that would be
Specifically for picks.
one that's in
Well, that one
from the original.
so much. And then there's another one. Page. Gotta go. Page 19. Yeah, so there it says replacement of capital plant, building infrastructure and equipment.
19.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't say depreciation. So there I'm just at is that depreciation, replacement of capital? So, I mean,
Oh, for the capital budget and program.
yeah. So I guess I just,
That one is not related to depreciation. That's just stating that in our capital improvement program, we will budget for any sort of asset replacement if need be.
Reserved for replacement, it's
Yes.
not a depreciation.
Yeah, it's nothing to do with actual depreciation of the fixed asset.
maybe it's just that page 14 or whatever where it says, well,
In your opinion,
there's depreciation in all assets will be, you know, it implies that we're budgeting for that.
do you think just obviously red on 10, just remove? We aren't technically budgeting, we aren't budgeting for that. And then on page 15, right through that first.
We're not accounting in the working budget.
It's not a line item expense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yes.
depreciation as an expense, but we are saving money to purchase new vehicles.
Yeah, for just specifically for public utility fund though.
I mean, because it says it's the policy of the city to commit a portion of the reserve to fix asset replacement as it budgets for revenue to cover depreciation.
Sir, isn't actually defined anywhere. So is that?
Well, the reserve is defined on page, I put that one actually on page. Should be page 13. It's minimum unassigned fund policy.
So
So so the enterprise funds on a working capital position, so the reserve is 90 days.
Some budgets for revenue to.
The utility or fund comes out of that reserve.
The FARP is dedicated just for general.
General fund, that's the issue.
Yeah.
But what,
Just the way it's worded is,
the portion of reserve to fix asset replacement as it budgets for revenue to cover depreciation. So is it saying that we need to budget
but that's the way it's worded.
revenue to cover depreciation?
Yeah, that's kind of the way that it's worded.
And so if that's it,
Could imply we're doing a capital project to do capital replacement, but I guess,
Depreciation, I think that's throwing it off.
so maybe we don't have to discuss it fully here, but can we just change the language a little bit? Can you guys come up with a recommendation to make it just cleaner, so it's not confusing? Okay, I mean, is everybody okay with that?
Depreciation with replacement.
Well, do we even have the PARF? Because I don't see it mentioned anywhere.
The FARF is
Facility.
mentioned on page. It is,
fix, in that 14
Page 14,
yes, it's on page 14 on, under committed fund balance.
balances.
fix some capital asset replacement, okay. Asset replacement fund.
Utilities too.
And that, but
Oh, it's just, this is general fund.
this is just general fund.
Reserve.
And
The reserve
council say
is unassigned.
on that.
But yeah, that, it's worded
No,
different.
because the fixed asset replacement is committed funds because we're committing those funds specifically for the replacement of our,
What is the general fund reserve?
that is on page 13, and that is the 180 days or 120.
Yeah, minimum.
180 is the actual fund balance reserve, unassigned is 120.
Taking an equal amount, there's depreciation out of the reserve funds, general funds to cover utility depreciation or utility replacement.
No, because public utility fund, it has nothing to do with the fixed asset replacement fund, so it's paying for its own depreciation.
It says, public utility fund. General policy of the city is to commit a portion of the reserve to fixed asset replacement as a budget.
Yeah, that's what we were,
And that's another contradicting statement as well.
what is it? What are we saying?
And maybe what the case is that yes, at some point, you guys were budgeting for depreciation and then it had stated this, and now we're not, and we just need to reword it. Yeah,
Well, and then the other thing, so you added the minimum 100, so this is new. The minimum 120 days allocated fund balance will be used to avoid cash flow interruptions, generate interest income. This is on page 13. Reduced need for short and rainy days. In the past, it was just for natural disasters or major unexpected expenditures. So to me, the 120 days is only for natural disaster because we're on the coast.
okay,
And I mean, I'm just saying, so, and the goal is the 180, which the policy is it has to be 120, we like 180.
Mhm.
But to me, that's not reserved to be used for anything. At least that's the way, historically, the way we have addressed it. If you had stuff above that, then okay, yeah, that's what we used to call reserve. I'm not sure.
delete.
Your terminology here is a little more precise, or maybe we're using it better, but just, so I just want to make sure it's clear going forward, I guess. That makes sense?
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Okay, but I don't like, I mean, personally, as one council member, I don't like the use of that 120 days for anything other than emergency.
Natural disaster, okay.
Now, council at any time can always change it if there's some weird, okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's why it says or major unexpected. So I mean, yeah, I can just completely remove that.
Because most of the added
So
stuff,
we're just gonna delete all the red in that first paragraph.
Just the
General fund.
second sentence, because you still want me to say any excess above the minimum were reviewed and authorized annually by the city council and may be designated to the capital improvement program.
yeah, that's part of the budgeting, right? I mean, you guys kind of do that. When it's the budget. You say, this is the minimum, we have to keep this, and that's, yeah, so,
But so it's okay to leave that sentence. We'll just take the sentence,
Just a second.
second sentence out.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I think to me, reserve is still a little net, I mean, unassigned balance is the 120 days. And you have committed funds, you have restricted funds, but no definition of reserve.
Well,
I know it's,
the reserve is the unassigned fund balance. Technically. So the
So then we, yeah, so we.
So maybe put in parentheses,
unassigned, yeah, I can do that. It's just it's in accounting language, it's, and in reporting, it's unassigned fund balance. But I can change it and maybe put like a little parentheses just for, I mean, I know what you mean.
AKA reserve.
Yeah, but can do that.
Say reserve later, we're talking about funds that we can use for other things, which is not the emergencies.
Yes.
Yeah, that would be the unassigned.
To me, that's not the, so if unassigned fund balance is 120 days.
Yeah.
That is not what we consider reserve anymore.
We would only have access to the amount over 120 days.
We would have access only above, yeah, because the 120 is, it's
Policy that you have to leave. I mean, you have to.
right, unless there is an actual emergency. It's not really a reserve that you can use for anything else.
Yes.
So.
And we
to
ask
me-
if we
to
have
me,
any
the
money
reserve
for
is
that.
You got your budget, you
You have
got
to
your
calculate.
checking account, however much. You have our budgeted items, which I guess is that committed, signed. You have your assigned fund balance, and then you have your unassigned fund balance. And then I guess whatever, if we had restricted stuff, and then if there was money left over, that's the reserve.
Yes.
That's above the 120 days of the unassigned,
Well, it's above the 120.
Would be like,
over the 180.
yes, of the 120 days.
Well, the goal would be above 180.
Yeah.
But you can allow it to get to 120.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, but reserve, I mean, I don't know, but to me, I know accounting has a different definition, but to me, the reserve is it's not the 120, it's not the assigned, it's above the assigned. It's what's left over.
Correct.
In the checking over and above what our actual budget.
The 120
Yeah.
would be a restricted fund balance. Restricted only to
See,
emergency.
it's restricted, yeah. I mean, as long as we understand what unassigned means. But to me, I think when she says.
But I think there's some
That sounds-
legalese.
Yeah,
Right.
it's not restricted, it's.
20 days is actually well, it's committed to, like the policy says for natural disasters or, so I understand what you're saying though, yes. So it would be the excess. I mean, yeah, in a perfect world over 180, but we have 120, so it'd be actually the excess over 120. What you're trying to say?
Well, I mean, to Wayne's point, so you've got assigned fund balance is the budgeted, that's the line, that's every line item in the budget. That's the assigned budget. You've got whatever we call the 120 days, that's committed. That's when committed to a natural disaster. And then you have, let's say we had a capital project, then that's okay. So then if there's any money left in the account above those things, that's the unassigned balance. That would be the reserve. Dip into if an unexpected something else came up. I don't know if that's the accounting, I mean, that's the way we've always kind of thought of it. I don't know what the right accounting terms are.
Yeah,
Because in the budget, actually, in the budget, technically, actually in the budget, we take out the 180 days. That's set aside.
It's put to the side.
That is put to the side, is 180
Yeah.
days.
Okay.
So really, the excess is for, and then you have all your budgeted items, which would be the signed, and then you have leftover for improvements
Yeah.
and any operating excess. So,
Yeah, I realize we inherited this unassigned balance. That's what it was called, but in our minds, that was committed. So,
I think it's just language. But I think I understand what you're saying. I think I can tweak or make it a little bit more understandable.
I mean, does everybody agree with that? Or, I mean, because, I mean,
I mean, yeah, the idea is to make it clear.
Yeah.
because not all administrations are straightforward. So that's the whole, point. Or councils, right? So that's why it's.
I think that I can make it a little bit more understandable, just outside of accounting aspect.
Cool.
Let's see.
And
So, yeah, I mean, that kind of falls into the order of expenditure of funds, right?
Yes, so after unbalanced policy, then we go into the order of expenditure funds.
page away on that?
That's page
15.
15, yeah.
This is actually,
That's interesting.
all I'm really actually doing is reiterating what's already in the paragraph. I'm just spelling it out in a list form.
Yeah, make it easier to understand.
That paragraph above is saying exactly what I'm saying. I'm just giving you the breakdown, like from here and then go down.
A hierarchy.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Back on page 14, under Public Utility Fund, when it says it shall be the general policy of the city to commit a portion of the reserve to fixed asset replacement as it budgets for revenue to cover depreciation. So,
I think I'm gonna fix that one.
Okay.
To say what?
Said. Do not confuse with depreciation because we don't budget for depreciation anymore in the public utility.
But are we gonna allow for a FAR for public utility fund?
I don't think that that's what FAR, actually, I looked at the GFOA on the FAR fund because I was really confused
Yeah.
with a lot of the language that's in here. And I think that the FAR fund actually is really only for the general fund.
that's the way it was set up.
Yeah, I think honestly,
Is there-
I actually emailed other cities on that one just to get an idea, and that's how other cities do it too.
But is there a mechanism then to do in the public utility fund like we do in the general fund and set aside monies that can then be used for fixed asset replacement?
There is, but it brings back depreciation.
But I think,
No,
and then we're going backwards.
It's in the slashes. We pay the payment every month on the vehicles we had into the depreciation account. So then when they hit their 12 years,
Yeah.
we had the money in there to replace.
Right.
them.
So, and we would do it for utility, you know, like when we replaced all the UV lights and stuff. I mean, we would build up money. I don't know that it has to be called depreciation. It could be called capital replacement line item. And then you store it up until you have a fixed project. But it's not money that's there spent, you know, that was spent with a purpose.
And if I could pose an argument, I need that more than ever now, because with
I know you do.
the fleet vehicles, I don't have to worry anymore. There's those,
It's a budget.
enterprise already swaps those out and it's a budget expense, but that leaves me with all of my equipment. And as many of you know, that stuff's not cheap.
right.
My only worry is, I mean, you could, maybe I'm wrong, I don't know, I can go and look, but I would prefer it to be a separate fund or something like that. I feel like if we budget for it as a line item expense and then we end up not using it that year, or whatever the case, it kind of just blows away in the wind.
It would have to be an evergreen fund that
No, so
we
we
paid into every year.
so some of those accounts that got deleted, I think, you know, a few years ago. We used to have a line, so like streets would have it, public, sewer and water, there'd be like it was a different fund.
Mhm.
And so money that was for depreciation would move into that. And that's why I said it would build up at 2 or 3 years. And the way our CIP was, is like every year we do water line or a sewer line, you know, and then the next year we do a street.
But see, I think you're thinking of the utility construction fund.
Yeah.
Well, but it.
Then that is the thing, but.
I mean, you can use it, but that's where the depreciation, I don't know if it went into
But
that.
it won't apply to equipment though. It would just apply to utility construction, which, yes, the water lines and any sort of infrastructure and stuff
Asset replacement fund, which we definitely need.
for equipment.
Well, whatever you call it, I'm just saying they moved it every year. And then we would build up enough money and then we would spend it on the capital project.
But yeah, I mean, how much, when we have to replace the UV lights, how much is that?
Research on that.
300, it was 350, it's funny.
Yeah, it was,
I was just through an old CIP plan.
This'll
It was $350,000 in 2018.
blow that number out of the water. One bulb right now,
Yes.
But anyway, it's expensive.
bulb right now is $750.
yeah,
The reason they have the line in though is so that you know you're generating revenue sufficient to
Right.
cover the depreciation expense, which then became but because if you don't have the expense in your line item, then you think your revenue, really you don't want to make a profit, right? I mean, we want to break even, but you have to, part of it is to replace your.
and you're
Have to
saying that
have-
most cities are not budgeting for depreciation in the public utility fund.
No, I have not seen that. So I don't know if that's just something that, I mean, I can keep looking around. I just nothing, I haven't.
And I would imagine, I mean, you probably couldn't afford
I can ask
thing, but
GFOA forum to see if there's any
Yeah.
cities, just out of curiosity.
I mean, yeah, at that point, it would be,
This one or-
I mean, there have, I mean, There has to be some way that,
Got to generate enough rates.
Pay for itself, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even every year, then, you know.
Yeah, exactly. We've got to generate enough rates that then we can replace these things.
Rates to pay for the bond.
The larger cities can afford it because their rates are high enough. They can just
Well, but
heavy equipment.
theory, that's not, I mean, in theory, you know, when they do the rate study, they're looking at all our expenses plus all our capital improvement. Now, you know, I mean, and I would think they would need to be looking at, you know, there's a replacement schedule for some of these high dollar things that would be built into the rates, but I'm not sure about coming up with, essentially, we're looking at some kind of a savings account. But then we take,
specifically for public utility.
yeah,
Let me keep looking at that one, but in the meantime, I can still reword that paragraph at least to be, not so confusing.
I think it's good that you're, you know, trying to clean all this up.
Yeah, just, yeah. But, okay,
And especially when a lot of people leave at the same time, then, you know, you have this general way of doing things, and when everybody leaves at once, you're like,
yeah.
I had a question on page 19. I don't know if you guys see it. Just the performance measures and productivity indicators.
Yes.
As you know, I like that, but do we actually have those? Or is this something?
That's something we're already actually doing in the budget. If that's when, those first couple of pages before you actually get into the department numbers, I mean, that is what that is. I mean,
But I mean, are we setting goals and?
yes, yeah, every, in our department meetings for the budget, we go over all of the measures with all the department heads and their goals for that year. And that's actually a requirement to, get the budget award. So. And another thing I added just to follow the performance measures is we technically don't have any policies on the capital budget and the program. I think we had a tiny little paragraph in here somewhere about it, but we actually never really had an actual policy to guide us anywhere, I guess.
No, just we'd have like a 5-year plan.
Yeah.
Or something.
That's it. So I tried to kind of add a little language in there just to give us some purpose and language on how it's prepared. And this is actually pretty basic. This can actually grow a lot if we wanted it to. But that's really just dependent on where our goals are, I think, every year. So, I mean, I saw a couple cities set aside, when we talked about this, certain percentages dedicated to streets based off of their street value, dedicated percentages for their water and sewer. But I know we're not, I mean, that's something, I mean, like large cities probably can afford to do. I know that.
yeah, I mean, we talked about that in the finance committee. We thought that we're limiting us too much by mandating a certain percentage
For
for XYZ.
Yeah, I mean, that's not something that you can't do later on, though. I mean, it's just to have it in the back of your minds. But I just wanted to give us some sort of a guideline to have.
I mean, we kind of do it though. If we say like in 3 years, we were gonna replace all these these X streets, it's gonna cost $2 million.
But if you put it in a policy, then you're kind of, you're.
Oh, automatically.
Yes.
That's almost like asset replacement.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I kind of just left the window open.
So under water and wastewater utility rates. I don't know what page that is.
22.
22, okay. So that one, just an FYI, so here it says annually, and as a policy, I guess when we got on Council Road, they, at that time, and I think they looked at it every year, but they only increased the rates every 3rd year.
Okay,
Well, that was because that was the policy, that was the rate study was done in 2013. That's how they built it.
That's how they built it. So,
3 years.
well, the explanation I heard from the old timers that were there was that way council didn't get beat up every year. They just got
Right.
third year.
And that's when we do our rate study, that's what we'll let them know. Do we,
Here it says,
instead of, but I think, look at it.
So I'm saying that we're going to review it annually, and if necessary, we will adopt new rates. But
Again,
that doesn't
like what we talked about, at the last meeting, GBRA, our fee to GBRA is going to go up every year. And so that we may not necessarily be able to absorb that for 3 years.
you would elevate the initial to, but yeah, I mean, I'm fine with going up
Yeah.
every year because, I mean, these are our costs, these are our expenses, and we have to at least break even. We can't go under.
Right.
So, I mean, sometimes.
Data to support it.
Right? I mean, it's like any company, I mean, you just do what you have to do. I'm totally, I mean, to me, I would rather do it annually, a little bit each time than every third year have a big jump.
Yes, I agree with that.
Yeah.
but I just left the language if necessary, because I think last year we didn't even raise.
Well, and last year,
We raised the GBRA, but I mean,
we made a conscious decision to try to absorb, because again, we weren't sure what additional revenue we were getting with the new, more accurate meters. And so, and in summary, and I just finished my memo today for Monday's meeting, but in summary, we basically broke even. Technically, operating income was negative $250,000. So clearly, this coming year, we will have to increase rates for operations, aside for anything else that might be.
kind of why I changed it to utility rates rather than water and waste,
Right.
because there's so many rates that go into it rather than just.
Yeah. And service fees.
Yeah.
Page 23. Okay, so under general administrative charges, that should be based on the percentage of personnel time and other, so that's what we do, and that's good. But in another paragraph, we say that it's based on a percentage of revenues, and that's confusing.
Okay,
So,
so. Technically. Revenues is actually a more common way of doing it rather than doing it based off percent.
that's been like that since 2013, I know, but.
Yeah, and actually, we are doing it based off of revenues. Percentage of the revenues. Rather than what that's stating is that's by doing it that way, it's wanting you to go, which I mean, you can do it either way. It's going department by department by department and configuring all of the expenses that allocate to what they spend on that fund, the general fund, all the general fund departments. Because that's what it's stating.
This was just for the revenue funds, the special funds.
No, this would be for any of the enterprise funds to
Enterprise.
pay the general fund for any time spent on those funds.
Okay,
So the beach, public utilities, ports,
Port commission.
those funds,
right. So, but a percentage of,
the revenue.
it's huge compared to, like, for instance, at the moment.
They're all, so based off the spreadsheet that I used for the budget. For instance, beach essentially pays the general fund. I think it's 3% of whatever the actual revenues were.
Okay.
And actually, I think ports is 3% as well. So it's just a blanketed percentage. So, but all that's stating is exactly what we're already doing. So I'm not really sure why it's stated
It
expenses.
used to be we paid for like half a person, right? I mean, they were.
We took that off.
So you guys are doing the actual, okay.
Yeah, because now we're not, they're paying for doing.
Okay, so this new paragraph then is not correct. It just should go away. Because this says,
Well, the new paragraph is just reiterating that it's a type of revenue. That's all this is really stating.
you're saying here, the calculation basis is percentage of personal time and resources attributed to the enterprise fund by each department of the general fund. What you just said before was that it's just 3% of the revenues. So it has nothing to do with.
But you can do it that way too. Like, okay, so okay, let me just, no, and I agree with you. It is super contradicting in my eyes. You have the beach and the port fund where they're contributing to the general fund based off a percentage of revenue. But then you have the public utility fund, which is contributing as in this method, where it is
Right.
doing a percentage of that department's time and however you want to configure it.
Streets and utilities are
Streets.
sharing a person, blah, blah, blah.
I mean, any general fund department, you have city manager's time, finances time on public utility fund, streets time on public utility fund. Any department that contributes anything in the from the general fund to public utilities is essentially, there's some sort of allocation, percentage allocation for their time.
It should be an
That's
and or.
but why just is the public utility fund?
Thing is, because my time is split between general and utility fund.
So the harbor, the harbor master was also like at one time the public utility director, so, I mean, so the person was split.
Yeah.
Because it was easy and maybe the admin. I don't know, I mean, well, we have two different things, so I mean, we can say we do both of them depending on what fund it is, but,
I could say that.
or you can
Or-
just do the percentage and just
I-
say that's the way it is.
Or I could do-
How does that work out on, like, the salaries involved? Because you're split between streets,
I'm split between general fund and the public utility.
Just 50-50.
you and Cindy, are you the only two that are split?
Figured in the budget to be split. They're assume, when I put their salaries in, I split it immediately. So that's already, it's just stating how much time does Jody spend on public utility fund things? And so does she think she spends 25% of her time on public utility fund, finance department, how much time do I spend on public utility fund duties? That's how it's set up. Which,
But I mean, right now, we're just,
To be clear, I seen that look, Tim, that would be here, not over there.
yes, no, not us actually going, us,
Billing,
utility billing or, whatnot, or yes, how much time does streets department spend on going out and helping the guys? I mean, it's the same concept, or how much time does Derek have to do anything for public utility fund? I don't know, I mean, that's really just a basis of going through each department to figure out that year,
but
did they have to?
and my understanding, but I mean, technically, that is what we're supposed to do. I mean, because a couple of the conferences I went to, or meetings I went to at TML, they said that, I mean, well, at least for the public utility fund, for the rates, we need to have some kind of documentation.
Yeah.
We did this.
It's
I mean, based-
indirect cost allocation or whatever.
We pull out of the air and say such and such a percent, it needs to be, based upon.
Well, streets is easy because aren't they hourly? So I mean, you can take jobs and just allocate, back charging straight across. That'd be pretty easy to.
But it's probably a matter of actually going through an exercise and just establishing an estimate as best as we can of what
Essentially, really,
spend our time in public utility.
it's really more of an estimate of that department's time than it is anything.
Well, I'm okay either way, but we need one paragraph says this way, and one says this way. And
Yeah, where's it? I mean, I know where,
One
what's
is,
the other one, the second one? I see where the general administrative charges, but the other one, that's earlier.
page,
I remember when we were talking about this. That.
it's on page 18. Administrative overhead fee to enterprise funds,
that's it.
And so,
which is what, I mean, that is, it's an overhead fee.
maybe that would be applicable to Port Commission and the beach.
Yes,
The public utility fund needs to be more precise.
well, the way that it was worded was exactly associated with each function. That is how the public utility fund is being done, but the beach and ports is by revenue.
Yeah,
I guess
I
maybe,
mean, we need to spell that out though.
So move that line that you struck out there to the other paragraph so it clears it up.
So utilities is an enterprise fund, right? So
Yeah.
just say utilities is this way and then the other two enterprise funds are this way.
Yeah.
I mean, that solves it if that's.
Yeah, I think,
Yeah. Okay.
Then on page. Okay, so on page 24. Okay, so why was the responsibility for budgetary control lie with the department head struck out? Page 24, first sentence.
I mean, I feel like I'm just really, I'm saying the exact same thing in the red, really. I mean, I'm just rewording it to say that the level of budget control is in the department level budget and the general fund and the fund level and all the other funds. I mean, I guess really I could leave that. I mean, all that's stating is that the department has control over their budget.
Well, it states that they're responsible for.
Or yes, they're responsible for their budget.
Having a budget, so, which I kind of like, that they're responsible for the budget.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I guess, and yeah, because the red really, all I'm saying on the red is that is saying that, and they all know this also, I mean, that we're not, that your budget is department level, so it's not based off you going over or under on a line item basis, it's the department. That's really what I'm saying.
department's got,
Not incompatible statements, just leave the strike out.
Yeah.
I could just leave a strikeout. And then, of course, I added contingency from the charter below. And then it's right below, I striked out the city manager's authority to amend the budget because I feel like it was already said in the amendments to the budget paragraph. So I just kind of feel like we were repeating ourselves.
So on amendments to the budget, that same page. Okay.
24.
So,
And this is actually in our charter too.
no, it's exactly what the charter says.
Yeah.
Okay. So with approval of city council, city manager, but then when you do the clarification statement, you make it less clear.
In the red.
Yeah, because what it says is with approval of council, the city manager may transfer, blah, blah, blah. Then it says, this is to say, when budget adjustments between items are made, it must be approved by the city manager. So you muddy that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, well, I think I was trying to make it easier, but I guess now I'm reading it over again
and of course, the last sentence is correct.
budget amendments between funds. Yes.
So the thing I struggle with, so I think what you're trying to say is that I think we had a statement in previous ones that said council, in this policy, council authorizes the city manager to make those transfers.
Yes.
I think it's strike out that I did is the city manager is authorized to transfer budget amounts within and among departments. However, any revisions, yeah.
So
Maybe if I can just put the strikeout there rather,
see a strikeout.
it's city right at the bottom.
Next page.
Next page.
Mhm.
Think the strikeout is actually worded better.
Yeah.
Well, what I would say, because the charter says what it says, I would say that what we use, the city council authorizes the city manager to,
Okay.
is authorized, but yeah, so he's authorized to transfer budget amounts within and among departments.
But you can put it all in that
I
one.
can just put it all, I'll move the strike out to that one paragraph and then remove.
Yes, yeah.
But I think it used to say city council authorizes the city manager because the
I think what you're thinking of is on page,
you're in control of the document. Can authorize expenditures, that's purchasing, though, that's different, that's a different thing. It's a small,
Yeah.
it may not be a small thing depending on who's in the office, so.
I will just remove that red and then change the strike through.
Well, I would, the statement, I don't know where, I guess this got revised a little bit, but I was reading some of the old ones. And it clearly said, city council authorizes the city manager to.
Does.
I think it's important to say that. We
Yeah.
can say that.
Yeah.
It just says is authorized, so who's doing that?
Do you want me to say the city council authorizes?
Could do that.
Authorized by city council, but yeah.
Yeah, either way. Like those.
Okay.
And then under central control. So on page 24, central control. So you may not be spent for purposes other than specifically intended without privacy of. So this particular one, I don't, as a council member, I don't like doing that. So if salaries, we budget for a certain number of salaries. If we don't use that money should not be allocated to anything else.
We're not doing that.
So
I can tell you that right now.
what's that?
We're not doing that. We're not allocating budgeted salary funds, to something else.
So just
I've never seen that being done as.
prior,
Okay, well, that's good. I mean, I like that.
so say without a prior approval of city council.
That's what I'm thinking. I mean, that, right, and that falls in with our authority,
Yeah.
because you can get really crazy with this if you have a.
I mean,
Yeah.
Not being that, just to reassure you, but I can say prior authorization of city council rather than. city manager.
Okay.
Yeah,
Just,
Yes.
that's fine, because that makes that, because that's like a different thing.
well, then at least then council knows when it's happening. If I don't see that ever happening, but.
they're choosing to move.
Okay. And that's actually, that's Article 803, if you want to reference in the.
Oh, okay.
Anyway. Well, I just like, I mean, there's a lot of good stuff in there, so good job.
Thank you.
And you added some clarity in a lot of areas.
I just wanted to I'm not gonna be here forever. Joe, you may not be forever. I don't know. I mean, this is just something for somebody to come in, not knowing anything in life and look at this and maybe get some better understanding. Other than that, well, I think the most of the rest is really just me clarifying, purchasing laws. I added just what is professional service. I feel like that question gets brought up a lot. Contract authority, which is essentially just saying what you can sign and then what has to come to council to sign. Prepaid, that is actually an accounting thing, and all that's really stating is, so every year we pay our insurance in June, but I'm not going to charge the remaining 9 months to the current budget year. I'm going to put it in a prepaid until the new year happens, and then I will charge it to the new year. That's what all that means. Then we have formal approvals, which is just stating what formal approvals the city manager and council has.
So just a picky thing. So city manager can approve under 25 and council can do over 25. But so who does it at 25? It's
like at the dollar amount. I guess if it's 25,000 even.
I think it's
like that was,
council's 25 and greater.
yeah. So she's $24,999.
That's,
I mean-
that's fine. Just outside agreement, anything 25,000.
Yeah.
It's a small thing. Bothers me.
Greater sign there. The other way.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what has been, I know it's always been up to 25,000. So I guess
It's
25.
finance policy says up to 25,000, anything 25,001
Is
is council.
All right, so we need to fix that other one. Up to 25,000.
I think it may be,
Yeah, I mean, we didn't find that written anywhere.
No, it's
That's-
actually, it's,
on the requisition.
It's in this policy.
It's in the purchasing policy?
It's in the.
Under, it should be up to.
No, it's.
it's in here too. It's in the beginning.
Oh,
It's on page,
okay.
oh, on page 12, authority to assign. Up all the way at the bottom. It just says city council delegates
Exceed.
ability,
So that would say
not to exceed,
manager has 25.
this says not to exceed 25,000.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
What Lane's. Oh,
It's 26, we have to.
Yeah,
yeah, just up to.
yeah.
Went through this the other day with the purchasing, because I got an invoice in my office for $5,000.
Yeah,
Didn't have a PO for it. I'm like, wait a minute, what does the policy say?
5,001. And then the authorized purchases, this, I'm just stating, I guess, just. I know that when I came in this position, I had a lot of questions about. Well, what does everything that council needs to approve budgeting wise? So I'm just kind of spelling it out, I guess. Obviously, you know, anything in the budget that was approved doesn't have to come back unless I'm putting kind of stipulants onto what needs to come back if it was in the budget. And then obviously any capital projects, change orders, if the item is 50,000 or greater, but just wanted to add some language on what it's council approval. And then long-term debt policy, I just added a purpose. Just explaining, this whole policy, really, most of it is really just me adding definitions of all the types of debt there are, and just explaining what types of debt we can go for, that really, they're just definitions, so. Last thing is the capital asset policy. This is actually a current policy that I just added into our financial policies. This actually, I don't remember the last time, this hasn't been changed since I started, so I think it's been quite some time since this policy has been revamped or even looked at. So I'm actually not changing much in here as well. I'm just adding definition of a fixed asset. On the criteria, all I added was that, the asset must be owned by the city, which that's just kind of an obvious one. All the thresholds are the same. It's still 5,000. It's still a useful life of 1 year. I just explained what a new purchase is, what improvement and replacement is. And then I guess when you get to page 32 and 33, there's this really big list of useful lives and thresholds of capital assets. I striked through pretty much the whole thing. I think that we were getting really
Calm down.
a little too intense on the, I mean,
Isn't there like an IRS table or something like?
yeah, I mean, if you really want to go and look specifically at a certain type of asset and useful life, you can always go and look that up. But I don't think we need to spell it out like this on a big, huge, long list. And honestly, in my opinion, when I started doing fixed assets, this just confused me more. So I just strike through and I left obviously the main ones, which is buildings, land, machinery and equipment, improvements and infrastructure, and just left it kind of.
Land improvements. That wouldn't include like painting a building.
No, painting is,
An expense.
yeah, that's just a regular budget expense. So
Unless you're coating a building with a special coating or
unless
refurbishing the building to make it new again.
it's going to improve the useful life of that asset, then painting is,
It's real confusing.
yeah, it really does. I mean, it can. I mean, then you start asking,
Count as capital if you're using a special cement paint that increases the value.
So instead of all the different, you've got one infrastructure with 15 to 20. I mean,
50
years, and then depending on what it is, you can go in there and.
with a minimum of 100,000. I mean, you can really, you could capitalize anything that you want to. I mean, if
What's the advantage to us since we don't pay taxes? To capitalize it.
we have to, it doesn't, it's not really tax related. I mean, in a sense, it's a record of our assets.
Well, I know we need that, but
Because that's capitalizing.
so it's just to make a list so we know. So do we actually have a list and we know what our depreciable asset, so do we know what our depreciation is each year based on the useful life of all of us? We actually have that?
That's all in code.
It increases our capital, our
Every year I have to go and
city owns.
essentially put all of the assets to income and set the useful life and it starts depreciating.
So does that help Wayne plan his capital asset replacement?
He has to get approval from
Yeah.
first. If it's,
Once we get it all cleaned up, it'll help me out immensely.
Oh, it's, it's excessive.
Kind of the point.
It's really not clean right now. But that's been my goal too as well. After I'm done with these policies. Other than that. And then I did, like, to your point, I did on the next page on 34, I clarified what is considered repair and maintenance, which means what's not considered capital. And I think it does state painting and similar activities is not, that's just repair and maintenance. Reporting and inventory, all,
for most accountants over that.
it's just paint. Reporting and inventory, all I'm stating in here is that obviously the departments are responsible for their fixed assets, inventory, but obviously the finance department is the one who is the holder of the permanent records. And I added a little blurb on seized vehicles. Those are not considered capital assets. And the sale and disposal of transfer of capital. So kind of all stuff that we're already doing. I was putting it on paper. And that is it.
That's great. What's the plan for this? Clean it up and
I will clean it up and maybe Monday.
You know, we'll,
driving.
theoretically, we want it before we get in too deep into budgeting, but
Email a copy out and amend it.
I can. I don't think
if we can get it done, we'll put it on the agenda
if I can get it done by
tomorrow.
tomorrow, I can put it on the agenda. If not, then definitely in July.
At least one to you, you're pretty familiar with each page.
That was my spill. You guys,
Hey, we done with, agenda item 2?
one.
I mean, 1.
We have to move on to 2.
You're pushing us tonight.
Yeah.
Came from the oral surgeon. Wait till Wednesday, I had it even worse.
No.
Yeah, this is extras and
I think I
Agenda
have a
item
little about you.
2, discuss capital planning and budget priorities for 2025-2026 fiscal year. Jody?
Packet, we provided you a copy first of the status report of the current projects that were budgeted for this fiscal year, to let you know where they're at. For the most part, everything is underway. I think there are a few isolated projects that have not started. But we're still planning on trying to get those done, or at least significantly underway this fiscal year. And then in addition, a copy of the 5-year plan that had been adopted last year, beginning with this coming fiscal year, just to have a look at what we just, had put in for 25-26 when we adopted the plan last year. The main objective for this afternoon is to hear from council. Brittany has given each of the department heads a packet, and they are diligently working on their budgets, which are due at the end of this month.
Lisa.
Yeah, to Brittany, and then we schedule, each department head schedules a meeting with me July, and where we go over everything. But I wanted to, make sure we had an opportunity to hear from council before you get too deep in the weeds of anything you're hearing from your constituents, or if there's anything that you would like to see us focus on, or any particular projects you would like to see if we could fit in the budget, and try to proactively look at that instead of waiting until the end of July and we're bringing a balanced budget to you and say, well, wait a minute, what about this? What about this? Okay, and then we go rework things. So if there's anything you're thinking now that you'd like us to look at, with that in mind, I'll let you know just a couple things that I know that I was looking at trying to fit in. And I think I mentioned this before, that now that we've got quite a few new council members over the last several years, budgeting for a strategic planning session with council and staff. And I thought about this year, except then when I found out how much it costs. I mean, we're looking about $50,000 to do that. So that's something I'm looking at. You guys let me know. Is that something you would be in favor of or not? I think it has not been done since 2012.
Is that like an offsite?
It could be, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I mean, it involves council and staff, and we've been working off the 2012 strategic plan since 2012. But I think it's most cities do this a lot sooner than every 10 years even. And it is one of the things that's required for that budget award as well. And then a couple other little things that, I know we're going to try for sure to get in is, based upon things I've heard, is a new sidewalk on Village Road from Cavalier to the nursing home. I'm hearing a lot of buzz about that. That's not, what I'm about $40,000 to take care of that. And then I've mentioned this before, but some of the things that I don't want to forget to look at would be some matching funds that we may need for upcoming grants, which is, again, I think I let you guys know we did not get that Summit Cove Trail grant. So I'm looking at a Matagorda Bay Mitigation Trust application. Of course, it's always good to have matching funds, not just ask them for the whole thing. And if that doesn't work out, we can apply again next year for Parks and Wildlife grant. But just so you know, what I am looking at also is maybe changing that up a little bit. And I've gotten with Urban and see, go ahead and get a core permit to go ahead and build across the wetlands and into the wooded area, like was originally thought.
Yeah.
I mean, it's more money, but I think we could still,
It's a small area though, right? That's like,
I mean, it's about, I measured it today, it's about 500 feet still that we would need a boardwalk. So, I mean, but I think if we still had our 200,000 or so match and we asked for 500,000 from Matagorda Bay, that would work. I don't know that it would work with the Parks and Wildlife because I don't think there's enough money in there. But anyway, that's one thing I want to leave some money in there for. We got a Lighthouse Beach Phase 2 Kepler project that we're going to have $158,000 match needed for. And then the Go Mesa boardwalk that is due tomorrow. If we get that, there will be a $200,000 match.
For the boardwalk at the bayfront.
At Smith Harbor. Yeah, if we got that, that would require a $200,000 match from us. And we wouldn't spend the whole thing next fiscal year, but we would need to have, go ahead and budget for it. And then I just thought I'd mention, since we just recently had that, public forum on the parks, some of the comments, that apparently the consultant saw repeated comments on these topics. I just thought I'd share with you. They said there was a lot of comments desiring more shade and or trees within our existing parks. Everybody loves our community events and wants more. A desire for kayak, canoe, paddle boat, et cetera, rentals on body of water. I think some of that might be premature until we get some of our shoreline protection, projects underway.
Would that be a private thing or would the city rent out kayaks?
No, I mean, we looked at that. There's companies that will come
It
do
would be
that.
private. We just provide them a way to do it. There's really no way we could manage
No.
that without increasing
And I think
staff.
we looked at that last year, but it comes basically down to safety and liability. And, at the time, we kind of decided that it might be better to wait till we get some of the shoreline protection projects up, creating areas that for people that, don't kayak well, they have a place to go without getting hit with waves a whole lot.
Mind you, that hasn't stopped the companies from contacting,
Yeah.
pushing to come put them in.
They'll come.
Jet ski company said no, right?
No, that wasn't really what,
They wanted to park at the beach.
no, that Port Commission couldn't, they wanted to be at Nautical Landings and Port Commission said no. Yeah, but that was several years ago. And then they never came back after that.
It's like a quick fly-by-night thing, kind of.
There was a lot of,
What does that take to have some jet skis out there?
yeah.
We need a filling station.
There's a lot of interest in more trails for walking and biking, which I think we are working on that. I was surprised at the amount of people that said that they wanted trails in wooded areas, which I look around and said, well, we don't really live in a wooded area. But then that got me to thinking about this one area that maybe that is a place we could do. It's not,
Kitchens?
well, that one, yeah, then we're working on that, yes. Once we get it purchased. Yeah.
They use it as a trail anyway now.
Yeah, they did, apparently our splash pads are a big hit and they would like more. And of course, everybody, likes the bigger parks, the Lighthouse Beach, and there's a lot of positive comments about the county's new Chocolate Bayou, park and, the playscape out there. If you haven't been out there, you need to go look at it. It's really, really nice.
It's ADA accessible, so there's all.
And ours are ADA accessible as well. They're just not
It's grand.
degree. Yeah, not nearly exclusively or all. Yeah,
But the walking trail, that asphalt walking trail, that is real popular as well.
yeah, yeah. And then the desire for an indoor recreation center with amenities for all age groups. And I think that's on every list we've ever had. It's just that, again, we work with the YMCA for that, but for the city to do something like that would take a bond issue of some sort down the road to build, an indoor recreation center. I think, with
That brings
inside with a pool and all that good stuff.
kinds of issues with it.
Go fund.
Yeah. But so with that, I mean, that's kind of my input, but I would like to hear from council if there's anything you guys, and again, if you don't think of it tonight, feel free to let us know. The sooner the better, and we can try to work it in.
Jody, can we just go from the top and kind of get updated on what we already have there for this year? The upcoming?
Yeah, you want to go through,
For these colored ones, this is what we're doing right now. This is what we're doing right now. That was, okay.
No, I was thinking right from the capital improvement plan itself, starting at the general fund.
This is
Cheers though, right?
this year's.
It's
this is from the CIP. It's just it's in a little different format.
I got you. But
This is.
either way, it's fine with me. Yeah.
The other one's just 25, 26 and on.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one doesn't have this year's,
Oh,
This,
but I can, but
Budget.
yeah, I mean, it's just, if you want to just review where we're at.
That workshop, the next workshop for CIP is, I think it's up July 28th. That's like a 4-hour long one, like during the.
Yeah, and
It's actually us going over the staff of CIP for like one last,
Oh, is it? Okay. That's,
before it gets
that's
approved.
not the budget, line by line one.
no, not that one. That's the one that, that we, and usually, I mean,
Have everything kind of worked out.
it's input at that point as well.
Guys,
By that time, we basically
have it.
have it. And so any new bigger projects, it'd be hard to fit in. If we know now, we can, if anything
And better.
substantially, if you got new ideas apart from what we thought of last year, that we can try to fit it in now. But yeah, we can, I mean, I'd be happy to go through just real briefly what we are doing right now based on this quarterly report.
Like some of these have no dates. Is that because they just got thrown on and we haven't talked about them yet, or? Just like the very first one, Southern Pacific, at ADA ramp, there's no date on that. Am I on the wrong page? Page 37.
Because there's nothing, I think some of these were from,
Second one, I know it doesn't have any dates on there because actually we have funds budgeted in this year's budget. But we don't know if we're going to have to re-budget some of those funds into the new year. So we just kind of left it blank for right now.
By now, you pretty much think it's.
I mean, I can go through here and tell you what I can tell you about the ones I know about. Okay, so first, the Southern Pacific Depot, remember that was the plan for improvements and site improvements to the depot. And we had urban engineering working on that. But honestly, until we own the property, it's going to cost us a lot of money to do it when it's still owned by the railroad. And they were requiring us to install the drainage as though it was a live railroad. We have to hire a special consultant to be out there 24/7 to make sure train doesn't come down while we're doing the work. And Urban had estimated the whole cost was about $80,000, and that's ridiculous. I'm not going to spend that. And then, again, at that time, granted, that was 2 years ago, I thought we would own it by now. We don't, but I think we still will own it within the next 2 years, maybe. So, I mean, I'm at this point, I mean, and of course, it's up to you. We could still do it, but it's gonna, I kind of hate putting a lot of money in it when we don't own it yet, and it's gonna cost us more to do it. And I'd rather wait till we actually own the property.
Can we just go ahead and pencil in like 26, 27, you know?
Yeah, we did have a number for that, but I think it's fallen off.
Falling off.
Okay.
We just need to put it back on.
I mean, I don't really like spending money on stuff like this necessarily, but of all the things that I hear complaints about, which I don't hear as much as you guys do, this gets more complaints than the sidewalk to nowhere out by the BFW. I mean, which I got a lot of complaints. So it's like this, why are you spending so much money and then you still can't use that building? So, I mean.
Well, again, I mean, and this.
I get your point. I'm not saying anything, but I just get a lot of, people are just like, what the heck are you guys doing?
Well, I mean.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody else does, but.
But again, the site work still wouldn't address the inside of the building. So, I mean, there's,
what's the holdup on that? Why don't we finish out the inside? Or bring it out for little events?
We don't own it.
no, we own it.
No, we don't own the land.
It's not on the land.
We used to have, you know, band, you know, they'd have little concerts out there. I mean, we had.
Market days and stuff.
And we can do that. I can budget money to, you know, basically work on the downstairs, the first floor area. We need to add an ADA ramp. See, all that was a part of the drainage project.
Can we put a temporary, I mean, can't we just like.
Yeah, roll
rent a
something
ramp?
in there.
Yeah, just roll a temporary ramp. You could buy portable ramps and they, you know, and then just use that until we get,
We could
yeah,
look into that.
or that, and then fix the inside.
Okay, I'll put some figures in to work on
Maybe we
that.
have to get their permission if we just roll a temporary.
Oh.
So.
What's left on the inside there, Jody?
Well, there's nothing inside. I mean, it just,
It needs to be sheet rocked and everything from that point.
No floor hardly in there.
well,
Oh, really?
On the.
I'll take everything it depends on exactly, I mean, the depot part of it is original.
Yeah.
That's the way it was back in turn of the century, last century.
What needs to be done with it depends on whether or not you want to try and stay as historical as you can with it.
Yeah, now the bottom part does need to be sheet rocked
Yeah.
and nice and everything, but the other part,
Did the work we did to it was if we didn't, it was gonna fall in and we wouldn't have nothing.
Preserve the building.
right. But I'll take you in there
Yeah.
sometime and so you can see what's in there, but we can for sure look at, I mean, the only thing keeping. Yeah, and finish the electrical and we put some money to look at that inside.
Gonna require much electrical work.
Yeah, but I don't think it's not an astronomical amount.
Simple.
Just,
Does it have restrooms?
no. And so what we were looking at doing is, having a separate restroom facility, not having in the building. Because that would be a big expense.
There's no plumbing, nothing.
Is there any tie-in point anywhere close by? I mean, it's all elevated, so it's pretty easy to plumb it.
Yeah, but I don't know where you would put it and have an ADA space. It wasn't ADA.
Depot, I mean, that whole big depot area, you could carve out. an area.
There's a closet, but the floor is not ADA. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Okay.
what I can do is I will
But
before.
is there a place to take the water, the sewer?
Yeah, no taps. There's no water or sewer
Well,
tap.
there was a restroom in there years ago. It's on this side. But I mean, what I can do, I'll talk to the guy that does all our ADA inspections and just
Okay.
see what his thoughts on that were. But what we had talked about last time, talked about it, is just planning on a separate 2-stall, men's and women's restroom off, separate one, not in the building itself for the site.
That would be,
Because again, that's going to be part of a park at one point in the future.
I think that would be the better way to go.
Yeah, I think so.
But you do have money budgeted to buy that land, is what 310's for?
Well, remember, we agreed on a price for all of this right away. But then, we thought we were close. And then January 2025, Union Pacific Railroad calls me up and says, we're not going to do any land transactions this year. Call me back next year. And I did have a big meeting with them after that. I got Congressman Cloud's office involved. And bottom line, they are still interested in selling, and we may look at trying to what they want to do is, or what they offered to do at that time anyway, is look at at leasing it to us for now. And then as we work over the next couple of years to purchase it, but I don't have any numbers from them yet on what that lease looks like. Bottom line, for the project coming up for the detention pond, whenever we get that contract, which today I was told maybe next week or 2 weeks, I don't know, that we'll probably instead be looking at purchasing land on the west side of Half League Road. But that purchase we can use grant funds for. So we can still keep this penciled in for purchasing that railroad right away, but we're not going to be able to do it. Actually need the cash for probably a couple of years. Because even once they start the process, which they're telling me they're not going to do till next year, maybe, then it takes a year for them to go through their process before we can even buy it.
And they had all those leases on it too, right?
There are 1, 2, 3 leases on it right now, yes. But what they proposed to me is that they would lease us the whole thing and we would lease. Transfer to us, yes. But like, they've never come back and given me any more details yet, despite my efforts in trying.
Figured do it. I just reread it.
Anyway, so that's ongoing. On the gateway signs, in fact, I just emailed, and there is money. I don't know if that's someplace else.
No, it's
This year,
it was budget, all of the money was budgeted in this year. It's just
Yeah.
not panning out.
but it just, we'll have to re-budget for it, yeah. Because,
It's that first one on that colored.
Parks and Water, not Parks and Water, TechStot, is looking at our conceptual design. Last communication I had from them was mid-March. I've emailed him again and asked him if he's had any more insight after reviewing it. And I
Fixed up on the location.
yeah, but he got that straight and he said he would let me know after he looked at it closer, and I haven't heard anything yet. But once, we get comfort level from them that we will be able to get something approved, then LJA is ready to get back on that and proceed.
Think we'll build that whole monument, I'm gonna call it, for 150. Whole project will fall within that.
Well, the budget he was talking to me for the one was a little over 100,000, I think, because we had 150 for their fee and the and the monument itself.
Good.
But I mean, I don't, we don't know till we get bids, but that's what they were looking at.
At the very first one, as a total project cost.
Let's see. Parking lot, remember we've got, we had 150,000 from general fund, 150,000 from commission, coupled with $400,000 from Matagorda Bay Mitigation Trust. Urban engineering is in engineering design. It could be ready, I should get a report back from him soon. The next step was we need to sit down once he's finished his preliminary drawings or, review drawings for the parking lot, to review those with Clean Coast Texas for the green infrastructure elements. They've offered technical advice, technical help on that. But Matt had a good idea, and I think that's what he's working on. And so that should be done. Ready to bid.
The material,
No, it's the runoff from the parking lot. It's gonna go, it will create islands that's got rock in it and different kinds of plants. Rain garden, sort of, but it's like an island with rocks with plants, and then the runoff filters through the rocks and the plants, and then it goes to a small
Under drain.
drain that goes to our storm sewer and then out.
oh, okay.
So it's a way to filter the runoff before it gets to the bay.
Recently permeable.
Yes. Prove it as well. Let's see. The City Hall security, the current phase 2, or actually it is phase 3. This one would be phase 4, but
The future would be phase 4.
right.
Done with phase.
So the one we're working on now, Raleigh McCoy Architects is working on it. We did have our big meeting with staff. Everybody is on board, and they're just working on the plans for bid.
Well, I assume 600,000 for phase 3. That's what we're in right now.
Yes, but it's
But from last year, what was it?
600.
for this year, we budgeted $600,000, but
But that included part of last,
included phase.
I think it was only like 3.
Phase 4 together. Phase 4 is not happening.
I mean, it's
Not all of it.
yeah, because last year included like 200 some thousand because everything's not happening in one fiscal year.
Yeah.
Overlapping.
Yeah.
And so last year's included some of
phase 4.
the landscaping, everything out here. Then, and yeah, no, because it also included,
600,000 for that was budgeted for this year, included all of phase 3, and we actually included all of phase 4 as if we were gonna finish it.
no, because it was part of, well, it had to include the utility billing security.
Separate. Oh, that wasn't billing drive-through upgrade, that's the 75. That 600 is,
No, but I'm talking about for the bullet resistant glass and everything.
oh, yeah,
That was part of that.
Is that
It was that one.
okay.
250 that's in?
The 250 was the original estimate for this, the phase, the next phase, but
Some of the stuff's going to, a little bit of update required for.
yes, for sure. I wouldn't look at these dollar amounts.
Oh, but none of these,
They're gonna need to be updated for sure. Everything is going up.
City Hall has a bunch of roof leaks.
I mean, basically, they've taken care of the roof leak that we've got over here. I mean, we will need eventually, when do we have this scheduled?
Next year,
here.
next, a year, not this budget year, but this next.
I mean, and if we don't do it next year, it's gonna need to be maybe the year after, because although we may not be seeing any leaks or they're manageable, we don't have much aggregate left on that roof. But and Harvey took a lot of it, and we've had a lot of windstorms. There's not much protection on the roof membrane, and so it's not gonna take too long before it starts. And we'll have bigger leaks.
I would recommend not pushing it off another year or you'll wind up like my wastewater plant
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it could be.
every time
They are,
as you're swimming.
they're coming up to, well, some of it is 20, a little over 20 years old, right now. So, I mean, it's due for sure.
Finance, we're not talking about that, clearly.
No,
Yeah,
and I'll tell you, actually, I probably will recommend removing this off of CIP because I had talked to Tyler or Encode, and they are planning on transitioning what we have to be a lot more, or have a lot more functionality than the upgraded version. So I don't think it's necessary.
So wait, so to go to 10 or no?
No, I talked to Robin and she did say that, she said they're literally rewriting 9 right now.
Oh, okay.
So to make it exactly like 10.
Okay, well, that's good.
I don't want to do that.
Okay.
hey, thanks for saving us $2 million.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Jody, tell me what that training grounds be combined, what does that look like?
So that's that area, out at the,
All loop?
no,
Fairgrounds.
the fairgrounds. Yeah, it's where the old sewer plant was.
Past the animal control, way back.
Yeah, that,
Yeah.
and that's been something that's been looked at to try to combine training facility for fire, police,
EMS?
EMS.
EMS, the building's already up.
Yeah.
Can we just use theirs and?
The idea was to first their classroom and then the field for practice. Or scenarios and stuff.
So I don't know if, I mean, we'll relook at that number,
Sure.
now that they've got that training facility, maybe we don't need that much money for the field. I don't know.
Well, they're gonna have, the building out there is shot. So for their, the dirt work is gonna be cheap because we're gonna do it. They're gonna need a structure on site.
You can burn the old building down, that's good training right there, isn't it?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. And then for Tracy with the animal control, Just, that's something that you buy every 5 years or so, buy a new incinerator, or how's that work?
I mean,
Yeah, the incinerator was, we talked about putting an actual building over it. Given the cost of a new one,
building was just way too much money for it, yeah. So we'll just, it'll rust out and then we'll just buy another one.
I think the main thing that we replaced is the components. Or thing, they're not that expensive.
You wanna put like an awning or something over it instead of a real?
That's what, as far as several years. You know.
I mean, we had looked at that, but even that was like,
Yes, it was.
I mean, even just a basic wood awning or covers like $12 and this was,
You'd have to have it well ventilated because it generates so much. heat.
yeah.
And so you have, bridge structure or.
It just didn't seem cost effective, basically, to protect it long enough to make it worth.
So this 15,000 for 28, 29 is for repair of the incinerator we have, or what's it for?
Replacement.
Okay.
And as a,
Also, they want to kind of hide from public. It's not, people don't really like to see that.
just as an afterthought, please, please, please don't put too much faith in these dollar amounts that are here. These are just placeholders.
No, I'm just asking the question, like, what's it for?
Yeah.
Don't know at all what it's for.
And the fire department, the ladies' restroom and shower, you guys are doing that this year.
No,
No?
out Frontier to.
Yeah.
Move our duplications line. Well, the main direction is gonna go at Walls area. And that's where all our telephone systems are at. We've been trying to get Frontier to go in there and relocate it. They're trying to let us. So analog lines, it needs to be updated to fiber.
But we can't do it until they update theirs.
So I'm waiting on them, to give me a price for it. How much is it gonna cost me to move that?
Yeah.
And I'm
Okay.
still waiting. They send me, one other person come look, well, that's not my area, this other area. So
Are you-
four different gentlemen talking to her about who can move it.
Once we get our,
Outside or what?
You know, it's all inside.
are you even gonna need that once we get our new phone system in?
That's.
That's where, we don't know because is it gonna operate off the fiber or is it gonna operate off the analog system? It's gonna operate on.
They're all fiber.
The new phone is VoIP.
Yeah.
I don't think you would even need it, to be honest, but wouldn't make any decisions on that until we actually get these new phones.
Which is when?
I think that's gonna be a very long process.
It's
very
been a while.
tedious.
Do we need to
For kids.
do we need to find an alternative restroom spot then? I mean, the ladies, do they have a place to go?
They're using the way showers, they're using locks on it. But it would be a lot easier for them to have their own shower facility.
So it's manageable.
Yes.
And then coming up, well, I don't know if we would talk about the fire engine.
I think Brittany, you go back, okay,
Okay, so. Items, sit-ins, essentially, we have this fire engine apparatus, we have it budgeted for 27, and what our plan was, and initially was to do exactly what we did last with the Pierce pumper and do a lease of some sort. So Joe has already contacted to see what is build time, and they've already come back at us and said 36 to 48 months. So
it could be short if we customize it and make it something totally different.
Well-
It'd be put on a new line. I don't want to spend more, I want pretty much the exact same truck that we have already.
but to even get put on this list to start the build, there has to be a signed letter, a proposal letter essentially, which we are working on getting, just so we can prepare ourselves to get put on this list for 4 years.
We won't need the money for
4 years.
years.
So is this one of the items that's on the list at the county as they negotiate with,
I mean, not this truck, that's another one.
why is this one not?
6 truck that needs to be replaced.
I understand.
The county County won't know nothing till 2027. They won't know. That's about the time the truck will be ready. We could say we partner up with them, but we're still gonna be short another truck. It's gonna be a 20-year mark. The county's truck right now is just 23 years old.
To get it quicker, add another dome light.
I asked for,
They charge you $500 for an extra dome light and then it gets put on another line and you get the truck quicker. Is this a ladder truck or is this just the same?
No.
That's what you have?
Yeah.
Okay, so we've given up on the ladder truck. We don't,
well, the county department.
okay.
I think
You can clean it.
30-minute wait, I can ask for most of, I can ask another 20 minutes, but right, what, get one from Fort Collins.
So that's sufficient for our insurance rating then?
No,
Can we lease one and it'll be sufficient for the insurance thing?
Yeah. That's nebulous. It's nebulous how much that actually works in our, for savings wise, but it is a good thing to have.
The insurance going up, I mean, it's affecting everybody. It's a new classification that we fall into now.
You know how much that would affect homeowners?
It would be it'd help a lot more on commercial buildings.
Commercial.
yeah.
What are we gonna do on the ladder truck? Cause one day we're gonna have to figure that out.
It's
We're gonna make an ordinance that says only single buildings.
Yeah.
it's the footage of the building.
So it's just the hotels that make us fall into this.
So, and it's also the square footage like that, complex of the shopping center we have here, square footage.
Also, you can get over it.
It does go by height also too, the number of stories, but also how big, like this high school, the junior high school.
Maybe when the hospital becomes a taxing district, we can get that on their budget. So.
Okay, put a pin in that one.
Yeah.
Get ready for that. Yeah, so we were talking pricing and then it's like 1.5 million.
Hey, right here it says 1.19.
Yeah, but that's because we're getting a prepaid, we're not on a prepaid.
Okay.
And then after that was, then starting next, not this coming year, but next year, we've got 3 years for self-contained breathing apparatus replacement.
Dates.
Transfer.
And the next thing would be a zero turn since we go out through a field in those stations.
What do you need that for?
We want our training facility. Not that we mow that ourselves.
And what are you more with now?
But we put the zero turn up again.
Oh, it's old or what?
Well, we've gotten some of Wayne's old ones and
Well, and this is back, this is down in 28, 29, so this is several years down the road. And then the Quint Fire,
Yeah, that's ladder truck.
Yeah, maybe it's.
and moving on to streets and drainage,
But quick on that question, we are working with the county, right? When the county goes and negotiates these things, do we have like a top 10 that they can ask for from, for us to?
yeah, I mean,
Like when the judge is negotiating, they always like with Formosa, they negotiate and they got they got 4 fire trucks this last time? 6. So, I mean, every time they negotiate, especially with the larger companies, they try to get something.
well, they're doing that now for sure.
But I mean, they want to include the city, but have we given them a top 10 list or things that we want? We have.
Yeah, I mean, Vernon and I went over that and he actually added to that. So,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, he was more aggressive than, let's put it that way.
Oh.
Well, that's good to hear.
For the beach.
Was that? Yeah, for these
Yeah,
tax abatements. We could talk about it because Alan's not here. So, but
Yeah, I know.
yeah, this part of the abatement is, the abatement, then they also do, because they can write that kind of stuff off, right? And stuff like that. So yeah, that's how we get a lot of our fire trucks and things like that. So, okay.
so in streets, I mean, we mentioned the drainage detention pond on Half League and George Street, again, we're still waiting for these grant funds, which I was told today that I think it might get held up because, GLO just has so much going on. We found out they, were getting a new grant person with GLO, contract person, so I suspect that means our previous one was AWOL or something or left, and they finally found somebody to replace, and so maybe it'll start moving again. As far as independence, these are just the dollars that we need to budget for what we think we're going to actually be spending this year. Of course, we've got the money already in bond funds. Same with Animal Heights, Western Heights. Of course, with the Smith Road sidewalk and bike lane that's going on this year, they have started. And I know that they are scheduling the microsurfacing for July, the last I heard.
And Jody, on that, you said the stop signs are gonna be Jade Bay and Del, is it?
That's what's on the agenda for Monday night. Delmar, Jade Bay, yes, that intersection, yeah.
Are there any plans for?
At Smith Road and Jade Bay?
It's Smith Road.
Smith
but I
Road
think
and
Del-
Delmar,
Timberline.
huh?
oh, Timberline,
No, it's whatever,
Delmar, I think.
whatever's across from Jade Bay, isn't that Delmar?
I think it's Delmar.
Delmar.
Yeah, it's
Is it?
Delmar.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's kind of close to four-way right there.
Also on those, on Smith Road, there's a lot of complaint because they drive really fast. And I know that stop sign will stop them, but they, I know some of the people want those, speed bumps early on because when I tell you they drive fast,
But
That's a main road.
they
there.
drive fast.
I could see the neighborhood streets like.
the only way we could do that is if we reduce the speed limit to 25.
Yeah, well, I'm telling you, I live there and they drive, you
Yeah.
would think that they're on the highway.
You just need a cop as to why they get them then.
Well, there's not too many cars that ride in our neighborhood, to be honest.
The sign I put there, them down,
It's a automatic speed sign. It
He
doesn't-
ain't listening.
Because I pulled the report off of it today, to that
sign, the average speed is 28 and there was only 4 exceedances this time of 35. So if they're,
Unless they're hit
yes, it's,
right after the sign.
I just drove through there. There's that little, solar powered.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Slow down.
Yeah, well,
Probably like 35 is fast for the neighborhood.
yes, it is.
So it seems like they're going faster than the sign posted.
but it's 30, isn't it?
Yeah, it's 30.
30.
But
Yeah.
it's still 30. You know,
Yeah.
It's still fast in the neighborhood.
But I don't think it's feasible to put speed humps on a 30-mile-an-hour road. You can do it on 25, but not.
We'd be launching people into backyards.
Yeah.
Good. Maybe you get the trailer. Maybe you guys could put the trailer out there for.
But
That was a good deterrent. Don't get it hit by anything.
30 is fast, I think, in the neighborhood.
In the neighborhood,
It's fast.
Yeah.
Well, in the neighborhood's 25.
You did?
The one thing I think got a complaint was like, well, why would you put the trailer if there's already a sign there?
I mean, we could get another sign further, down, but
I was like, seriously,
once we get this.
like,
That you're trying to help.
it's inside, we like, why would you put?
I gotta move the sign anyway.
Yeah.
Moving it? Wait.
Yeah, it's right in the middle of a sidewalk.
Oh, yeah. So put more signs down that street anyway? Isn't there just like one now or do they?
No, there's actually 3 now.
So one on each end.
And then the one that my solar sign
In the middle. And that was never meant to be a permanent sign there. That was.
I want to test this sign, this solar sign
Was a test so I can see
how it's gonna benefit us.
Okay.
And it's actually, I'm gonna move it over to, when we pull it from where it's at, so they can put sidewalk in, I'm gonna move it over to Bauer, because that's another street I get a lot of speeding complaints on.
Does that road get patrolled a lot?
On Smith Street,
Yeah.
it does, but the public I run into is that it's local. And are speeding.
Yeah.
And so I get the double-edged sword, so. If they play, then when we get on tickets in mornings, well, why are you attacking us? So it's kind of way out.
But you just have to find them and that's it.
Yeah.
What else can you do?
So I mean, like village is a different village plants, plant worker areas in the hollow. So we'll find them all day. But then, oops. So.
Yeah, but the limit's the limit.
That's not, the limit is the limit.
Yeah, just.
Glad you're writing them and not me, but still.
Find them, they'll do it one
When I
time.
drive.
But if you know what my sign says, you're guilty as well as I am.
1 mile an hour. And a Grace in there too, right?
Courtesy Grace.
And
I mean, you didn't learn anything here, did you? So,
the street guys, in-house are working on Schoolie Henry and Bernorden.
I actually have an update on that. I've got some curb work and some grinding work. And the seal coat and Schoolie will be done. That project will be finished.
And you saved a bunch of money.
Yeah.
yeah.
That was a good deal.
Excited about that.
A little.
Then we've got placeholders down the road here for the area on the east side of Virginia Street that was not part of the CDBG-DR project, South Guadalupe, South Colorado, South Street, Alice Wilkins and Center. And then I know Sanchez and Brooks Streets and Drainage is something we get complaints a lot. And that was penciled in.
Going on in Guadalupe and Colorado and all.
Well, I mean, at some point, there's a lot of curb work and pavement rehab that needs to be done down there.
500,000? I mean, that seems kind of low.
Well, that's why it's a placeholder. I don't know that it was, that looks a little low to me too.
That's just the mat, that's just the.
That was,
That's,
I mean, that was 3 years from when we put this together.
yeah, I think that needs,
So, and as we've mentioned before, I'm only confident in the single year numbers. Anything beyond. And I haven't put any numbers to this year's yet. And some of this CIP for street department, I intend to change up based on street needs. And one of the things that I want to move forward to this year is Mahan from Virginia to Randall because it is in shambles.
It does need it pretty.
Yeah, and I was gonna go the exact opposite way on that and try to kick that out, because my neighborhood in Bracalo and to Collins Point, it is thoroughfare. People are cutting through there. There's so much traffic through there, and it's like driving in the bay from when they did that water project for all the lines to go across, which is good. I mean, we needed that improvement. But I gotta get some help because I'm getting complaints all the time about the
And
condition.
that was a project I wanted to move forward as well.
Okay, so we can look at that one being starting on what, next year?
That I haven't had time to sit down and plan it all out yet, but most generally, yeah.
but I mean, what are we talking about?
Well,
Scope.
instead of this one great big project, it'd be something I split up into phases so that we're not eating $2 million right out the gate.
Would you guys be doing it or would it be outsourced?
That one, I'm afraid we'd have to outsource because there's a lot of curb and gutter work that needs to be replaced.
But my point is when we do that, it would make sense to do the sidewalk at the same time, and the sidewalk is gonna be within the footprint of the road now, which is gonna narrow it and make it a little bit so people won't. When we go and rehab that street as it is, it will become a raceway.
Yeah.
Gotta narrow it down some.
And I agree, because just sitting in my living room with the windows, the shades up, there's so many people running and biking, and it's a pretty active neighborhood there. Kids and, I mean, all ages really, so I'm really looking forward to you putting a sidewalk in there like that. I don't know if we need a bike lane, but definitely.
You know, I don't,
No,
we need a bike lane there, no,
and where the,
a sidewalk, sure.
When you say a thoroughfare, what do you mean there, you think there might be people going, like taking a shortcut that don't?
They are, yeah.
They do.
that's why I put speed humps on
Mhm.
all
Yeah.
over, because they're using it as
Can you
a.
put signs there that will keep people,
They're going too fast to read them, Dan.
I mean, it's already 25 miles an hour. Yeah,
Well, I will say they've slowed down with the humps and stuff, so that was a good deal. Although they always got to be difficult and they go around them and damage the street there now. But even still, they're slow. They have slowed way down, so that's great. The neighborhood's happy about that. But now if we could just do something out Bracalo, maybe like, I don't, can you get a grant or something, Jody, to make it more walkable with the sidewalks? And we can make a whole.
you could get a grant. Man, for the sidewalks, I mean, it potentially could qualify as an alternative transportation grant. But it would not pay. It's not gonna pay for the street work range.
It's fine. I mean, some help's better than no.
But again, I mean, that would be next year's grant, and then, so we were looking at like.
You're saying you're narrowing the street, so the sidewalk.
I wanted to.
The footprint of the existing pavement.
I wanted to put this together as an actual plan, but since we're discussing it now, my initial plans were, of course, as I said, moving Mahan up, which is right out here, to Randall, because I'm getting base failures underneath it. So with Brook Hollow, my plans were, because we've been talking about sidewalk in there, is to do, and I've got a lot of bad curb that needs to be replaced, is to go in and put our sidewalk in. And that takes away all the damage that the water line replacement caused, because that narrows the street up.
Yep. Okay.
So then in subsequent years, then I can do the pavement work that needs to be done throughout there. The curb and the sidewalk on that side of the street are already done. Does it make sense?
No, so you're saying sidewalk on one side, but how does that fix where they put the pipes?
Because
in the street?
the sidewalk is going to sit in the footprint of the street, not in the.
I mean, so basically, by putting the sidewalk over the water line.
So we're narrowing the street, which is going to slow traffic down as well.
Oh, okay, the sidewalk's gonna cover up where the pipe is.
Yes.
No, but everywhere it cuts across, it makes like a,
Yeah, and that's.
you're not addressing that.
We can do patches on that.
Yeah.
To level it up. That's all I need to do is go in and do level up.
Exactly. They're like.
My area, that was the only thing that kept the traffic slow when they hit those, those drainage, I mean, it's like a drainage ditch. Now we're fixing that, so.
Yeah, sometimes, yeah.
After work, come through there, Daniel, there's a lot of cars going through there and they've slowed down, so I'm happy about that. And the neighborhood's happy, but now it's just the condition of the street.
What street you talking about? Brook Hollow?
But yeah, we just need to talk about Randy, because I know that when we put the sidewalk, that affects the shape of the road too.
We'll talk about it later. Wayne, I'll come.
Yeah.
We got another foot out.
Let's see. Just run it, yeah, trying to run down here, Yeah, we had put in. What is this? I don't know, Wayne, you remember some of these?
For.
Orange Street sidewalk and curb repair?
That was, we got
Yeah.
repair to do in that neighborhood.
That's right, because we were gonna tie the sidewalk that's on Bauer, the sidewalk on Azell, connect those with a sidewalk, but we got some curb repair that we needed.
And yeah, and if you see sidewalk in a neighborhood and you're like, why would we be doing that? Part of our sidewalk plan is if we're gonna require home builders to put sidewalks in their neighborhoods, if we come in and tear the neighborhood up, we need to put sidewalks in if it's feasible. I mean, if our right of way is 2 feet, we're obviously not gonna put a 2-foot sidewalk in. But.
Which again, these were, again, I think, ideas. I know we're looking at Tangerine. That neighborhood for curb and gutter, sidewalk and street improvements. Again, down the road.
Mildred Street, I can probably work with the county and get it done, probably cheaper than what I've got earmarked there, but.
And probably earlier than.
Yeah.
That.
What about that road over there at that park behind Tangerine?
Wilson?
By Wilson, yeah.
Wilson Park.
Wilson Park, but that one.
We stand, the Seadrift, the one that goes to it.
Straight up.
Is that gonna be, like, there's a lot of potholes and stuff and real deep, you know, there's a lot of traffic over there.
Yeah, I haven't had Seadrift on here because I wanted to wait for the state to finish their sidewalk stuff, but now that they're done with what they're doing out there, I'll revisit that. The other side of it is we've had major projects everywhere else all over town and
But it's used a lot, you know, that.
Yeah,
park is used a
I-
lot. It gets a lot of holes in it.
I just,
Takes it, oh.
Right.
I don't want to.
Well, they did
Yeah.
half of it like the year before. But
Yeah,
we didn't get back.
It's just,
it's those buses and everything, right? I mean,
Yeah.
That's
yeah, they're the high, that's a road that unfortunately we're not gonna get away with putting a two-course down on. That's gonna have to be a hot mix asphalt road and that's cost intensive. So I'm trying to milk it along.
do that, because it is used so much, and that's how the buses get out to the bus.
Yeah, and that's a,
Drove a bus, you can pass your parts going up, half your other parts going down that road, because I drove it for many years with a bus. So. Yes, I was the bus truck. Yeah.
And I am,
It's far away.
I'm reminded of one other thing that I'm trying to get prices on to put in next year's budget is to do an engineering drainage study for the drainage basin or the line that goes down Wilson and what's the next, Live Oak, at Live Oak. Because then, both those streets in a heavy rain can get a lot of flooding and it's a long. Live Oak, goes all the way from Indianola, all the way to the bay. And Wilson kind of does George Street and kind of does a jog. That area,
Wilson from San Antonio to the bay.
yeah, and all that, I know we get, it's street flooding, it drains off, but we do get quite a bit of street flooding. We just need to figure out.
The capacity needs to be increased to need.
Take a break. I'm gonna take a break. Take a break.
No, because then we don't wanna come back.
You guys just tell what do you want to talk about?
you wanted new ideas though, right?
Right, that's on the purposes, not
Because
necessarily.
we're gonna do this again.
Any specific questions on what we're doing? We're here to answer your question, but
Those are new, so-
looking at any new, and like the feedback with Berkala, I mean, that's good to know. If that's something that you're hearing a lot of complaints, we will look at that and see if we can, fit that in the budget sooner than later.
The restroom over there at George Adams Park, it's wide open, it has no doors where it can just open 24 hours a day and people going in there and vandalizing the walls. So I have them go over there and repaint them and all that stuff. Can we get some doors there, some gates to lock them after hours?
It's we'd have to have gates made. There's
Well, yeah.
no possible way to put doors in there because the width, the way it was designed to be
Well, you
open.
have to make them fit, get some gates made, weld them together and put some hinges on there and put a lock on it.
Believe me, I have no issue doing it. I wish I could lock them up because if I'm honest, I'm tired of replacing.
What's it costing you to go over there and paint the walls and do all that stuff,
That
It's an ongoing
It's
thing.
it's just time now, cause I quit putting, they ripped all the fixtures off the wall, the dryers, the
If that
paper towel
costs you, you don't put
dispensers,
any gates on, that's what I'm.
so I don't put them back up.
Yeah.
They don't have the mirrors there anymore.
We issued in most of the park.
Yeah, well, the new restaurants they got now, they got doors and they lock.
Yeah.
They lock them at certain times, but these old ones, you can't lock them, they open up 24 hours for people walking around or whatever. And then we're having to go fix them,
We've gone to the Wi-Fi, locks, the ones that you can do from your phone or your computer, so you don't have to have a person go there every time.
No, we don't have a central Wi-Fi system to do that.
I mean, you can build a frame around that opening, you know, big, pick the door that you want to put in there. You don't have to be a.
Yeah, but if I built something like that, they'd tear it down.
Not necessarily.
Where if I just have a wrought iron gate built, that bolts into the concrete.
If you could do that, yeah. Put it on your list, maybe, at least.
It's something maybe our council now would be receptive to it, but in the past, they haven't been.
What's the harm in putting up doors like Daniel said?
Well, they're not, you can't put a regular door because it's not the way it's designed.
Build a gate for it.
Yeah.
Right, but what's the harm in making door?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, none. I would rather do it. It has saved me time and money.
Then let's do it.
Let's use the park. All right, they get allocated.
Get it started, see what it's gonna cost, get a bid or whatever you need to do.
So back on the parks, I mean, so dog park kept coming up that night. I'm not a fan. Maybe some people are, so.
We have a design, which I think, I like the design myself, but the reason why we didn't move forward with it last time was because I did not get a warm fuzzy feeling from the local vets. And, you know, there is a liability involved because it's great if all your dogs are vaccinated and cared for and every registered and all that kind of stuff. We do not have a great track record in Port Lavaca right now for that sort of thing. And so at the time, we basically decided that we needed to wait until we had more responsible pet owners in Port Lavaca. And we had the resources to devote more resources to that department to have more employees to handle that.
Jody, I think just responsible owners gotta load the dog up and take them over there. It's not just gonna be anybody.
Didn't we have just like 6 dogs registered and like 3 of them were Jim Ward's?
I think, I mean, we do have more now, but it's still not maybe 20 or 25. I don't know if you know.
But I mean, you go to like Buc-ee's and Slovacek's, you go to all these places, there's dog parks at all these, rest stops and gas stations and stuff. So,
I mean,
it must be.
well, now that we're talking about it, I owe you this information. I did just like a week and a half ago, I had somebody with a local company. They offered they would pay for it. They would put it in and pay for everything if we name it their dog park. And so I mean, that's something if in fact we are interested, if you're interested, I mean, I can hold the local vets again, just see if they've done any change of heart or what they're thinking. And I can get with this company and see exactly what they're talking about. But they were willing to pay for the fencing and everything.
Dog toys, all the little things for the dogs to.
I don't know about that, but at least the fencing, because it involved, we had a half acre for large dogs and a 0.2 acre for small dogs. It was a city park. The entrance was on the north side of the pavilion, so it was away from the kids.
Yeah.
And there's an entrance to where you have one area you go in, and then one gate goes to small dogs and one gate goes to large dogs.
So it'd be a free thing, free park?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't cost anything.
And as an added benefit, they could walk through the wooded area, get to the dog park.
And as,
The dog park is in the wooded area, yeah.
so I'd be curious what the maintenance on that would be. I mean, hopefully it's not like a whole.
I mean, we'd be mowing, I don't know about,
Well, you'd have to have somebody dedicated to the maintenance of that because the waste has to be picked up and disposed of.
well, I mean, responsible pet owners pick it up themselves.
We should dry up and go down. Give it a couple of days.
I think,
Trying to protect our base.
we were gonna reach out to Victoria, and on our to-do list is reaching out to Victoria and get some more current information from them, because they just opened a dog park, 6 months ago or so, to see how No, theirs is at the park in Victoria, Riverside Park.
See how they maintain it.
What's working, if they recommend it or if there's like, don't do this,
Who wants to build us a free park? That top secret or what?
Do what?
Who wants to build this park here?
I don't want to say, right, I'll tell you, like, I don't, because he just was telling me and I said, well, let me look into it a little bit. Because I don't want to commit him to something that, we should, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, let's move forward with that. And the vets, I don't understand why they wouldn't want a dog park. Like,
Well, I think it was
dogs infected,
because they know the vaccination rate, I guess.
Okay.
Okay, good feedback. All right.
So. I don't know, gas station thing, the fill up thing was a bad idea. I know there's complications for that, but we need to have places for boats to fill up.
Well, I mean, the plan had been, my understanding was that location just north of Lynn's Bayou, where there's some, where that old.
It was at our old bilge pump station.
Yeah, that's where the Port Commission was looking at doing it.
And that would be,
But I mean, that was not to be something city funded. That was available for somebody to come in and lease to create.
Can we reach out to a company to do, stuff doesn't always just happen magically. Sometimes we have to reach out.
Right, but
That would be the only
location I would recommend.
I don't know that we've got honestly, the volume right now that they make a profit. I don't know.
Yeah, there used to be one there. Yeah, they still have it. They've got a fence around there.
Oh, okay.
There's a bank right there.
Yeah, that's my bilge pump out station. That's where we pulled the oil out of the.
But I know Jim knows people in that arena. We can find out.
The Harbor of Refuge, having a place for like tugboats and stuff to fuel up and bring in a company that does that and we could generate some revenue. Apparently there's
Over there though, right now.
Yeah, that I don't.
But yeah, I'll bring that up.
because we just have to find stuff.
But at the Bayfront Marina, Smith Harbor, those just aren't, they're not feasible places for that.
Yeah.
Where do those boats fill up now? Like everything in the marina?
Well, in the marina, those aren't really transient boats.
I never see them move though.
Those sailboats only have like a 10-gallon fuel tank on them.
Okay, so they're just
Bucky's haul it down.
Yeah.
Because their motors are only for emergencies or generator purposes, not.
But yeah, as we make improvements, once we get the breakwater up and we can start protecting that marina better, have an opportunity to try to get more activity in here.
That area right there on Commerce Street. Next to corner of Commerce in Austin, that little area that the city has. What, do you have plans to do anything with that? Somebody had mentioned to me that maybe we should put some sitting areas there. People could go there and sit there and have a little something to eat.
Yeah, we really haven't talked about anything
Outlined in the master plan.
on the top. Well, what's identifying the master plan is basically looking at like little shops or
Little commercial
Yeah.
stalls.
that sort of thing. I don't know how realistic that is in the short term anyway, but particularly if
It's
the
not
restaurant opens up, there might be.
real big. You can't put a whole build, something real big.
But we could
Up here.
put some benches and stuff out there for.
You talking when you go down where all the reeds are?
He's talking about on Commerce on the upland.
A restaurant.
Right to the curve there. So.
It generates revenue.
What does that have to do with?
It's on that basketball court there, Jody. That's a good idea.
That house generates revenue.
Yeah, we're still looking for
Prize fund.
dollars.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Cost. We don't have a cost yet.
How could you rent it out then?
Is it too windy to play basketball out there? Or
always been
we put up like a
fun.
big mesh?
No, this would be at Wilson Field.
Right,
Yeah, Wilson Park. It's not too,
not like the Bayfront.
But it had
no,
sides at the top, right?
what we were envisioning is what they've got in Victoria. You know, it's a
Yes,
big metal
like
building that the walls come like halfway down. But I mean, they play basketball at George Adams and it's not. too
Yeah,
bad.
all the time.
Yeah, but that's the middle of the neighborhood. I think somebody said make it in the Bayfront. And we talked about pickleball. Balls just get blown away.
Yes,
Yeah,
Way.
Bayfront is just wind.
Yeah, there's,
I don't think that will work there. But it should work at Wilson. Just,
Where are they thinking about putting it, Wilson? Is it?
we were, I think the last rendition, we were,
basketball court would be behind the soccer field.
Behind them?
well, that was one place, but then we were also another alternative. You put it where potentially where we were originally looking at the pickleball, it would fit on the north end and create a parking lot there and put it behind that last ball field. I'll show you on the map. I mean, it fits there pretty nicely, actually.
But based on the original layout of.
It was shown behind it.
Shown behind the soccer fields with the walkway going around everything, giving, you know, like a fitness trail as well.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah,
I mean, it's a sports park. I'd hate to put basketball courts right next to a parking lot. And the exercise you get would be turning the steering wheel to get to the basketball.
it's just, I mean, the only thing we have some drainage issues. We gotta fit it within the storm pipes. But, yeah, I think that's where it would just fit on either spot.
So on the parks, is there any way we can get like a drawing that kind of shows us layouts when we're discussing the park? You know,
Yeah, I mean, we had that at the, yeah, I can send you, when we sit down and,
yeah, when we do the sit down.
yeah, we can bring you the maps we have.
See, but
Yeah.
parks and stuff, it's easier to just see it. on
Yeah.
the Diagram.
We'll do that. We got one for each park they did for the master plan.
What do you want to do with the Bayfront Park entrance? You said you want to widen it?
Yeah, well, we've been talking about, the next project after the new improved parking lot behind Nautical Landings is widening the entrance to add a dedicated right turn lane. And then there's been talk about, well, and then we, you know, with that, you know, with the right turn lane, then we need a retaining wall to create that. And then behind the retaining wall, you'd have your sidewalk and ADA ramp to get down from the Main Street level down to the park level. But then Parks Board has also talked about creating some kind of big entrance, like maybe an arch or something that goes over it as you get into the Bayfront.
10 years we've been talking about that.
Yeah.
I mean, I think
The first step is to improve the entrance. The pavement, yeah.
You have to take that tree down?
I don't think so.
So we're not gonna do anything with the landscaping on the side until we do this park entrance improvement
The
though
landscaping on which side?
of the nautical building. It's pretty simple.
The last conversation that was had was, they didn't want to, Port Commission didn't want to remove any of that.
Yeah.
To just keep it trimmed up. I think it probably needs trimmed up again. But I don't.
The person who's, well, the main vocal is no longer on that commission now. So, yeah, because really, when we did the first Parks Board offsite, or wasn't offsite, it was onsite, but I mean, when we did the facility, the Parks Board had ownership of that, and they had quite a vision. And
Oh, on the landscape.
yeah,
I know they wanted to,
take it from the main street all the way down as you're walking through, and they had quite a vision, and it just kind of got destroyed. But
and we'll definitely revisit that again once we look at, you know,
okay,
that entry specifically.
A lot of those trees.
If council does want to give that to the Parks Board, give them reign over that.
And they're too close to the building.
well, they're destroying the building.
Yeah.
And the landscape around it. I mean, there could be some easy stuff done to just make it look nice for, what's it gonna be, 2 years before we get to the.
I
So
mean, yeah, we can clear out some more trees, clearly, yes.
just simple stuff.
Yeah, trust me, I have no problem with the palm trees out.
Yeah.
I think, I don't know, I have to look at it again. I think there was like believe one, because there was.
I mean, it's been a while and we did, clear it out some, but in fact, I was noticing over the weekend that, yeah, it needs addressed again because it's gotten pretty.
The little sagos, the little short sagos, they're fine. The big tall ones that I gotta send my guys up with a chainsaw to cut and trim that are just a nightmare.
There's some nostalgic. Or what?
Donated or something.
Something, the oak trees in front of the church were donated, who ripped them out?
And put it on the bottom.
Well, I mean, sometimes you're just not in the right place, and nobody wants to rip it.
If someone was to accidentally dump some pesticide on them, I wouldn't complain.
Wait a minute. They
Do I need to move over again?
So what else? What else?
The sidewalk for Oakland to the HB. We're still working on grant ways or fit that in.
That, I mean, we're, in fact, Monday night is the resolution for that alternative transportation grant. And so, yeah, I mean, that's applying for that.
It's on in case that doesn't go through, it is on here placeholder.
Yeah, it is. Yes.
That's good.
There's a lot of people that want that.
But, yeah. Mhm.
I had a complaint today from that guy that lives in your area,
That Bella guy?
that guy, John Bella. He told me again today about the sewer pipe is sticking up too high above the ground. And he said he's got a neighbor that drives a trailer back behind there and he's afraid he's gonna run over it and all that. He's waiting for the city, whoever, to go over there and lower them down to where they won't run over them.
Where does he live?
Man, we'll talk after this, because I need some clarification, because I didn't know if it was his own plumber or the city guys went back there and
There was city there was,
Where does he live?
on the south end of Bracala, on the creek side. Got the two lines.
We can't lower ours. Cause it'd be below the flood level on the bayou.
what do you mean? The bayou's way down there on the bottom.
Not when it rains.
But I mean,
The flood level is at
What-
the fence in the backyard in our right.
Which, are you talking about at manhole or are you talking about
no, it's not
clean out?
clean out. Yeah, it's clean
Yeah,
out.
we can't lower that because it puts us below the flood level.
Well, if somebody needs to go over there and explain it to him, because he keeps complaining to me about it, so.
I call
Let's go over there.
So, yeah, is there anything in utilities? Anything else?
I've been going to Lighthouse for like a week straight, just walking out there, enjoying the beach itself and talking to the people on the pier. And biggest thing I got was people would like, if not police, to roll through there more often, which in fact, I did see an officer going through there, so that was cool. Maybe some cameras, even dummy cameras, something as a deterrent. Or
Something happened, or they just nervous?
well, we're just using different substances out there that
Here,
I agrees with.
here,
The state of Texas doesn't agree with anymore. It's
I
out.
mean, but on the pier? I mean, on the pier?
Yeah.
Because I know you guys, I know you guys go and patrol, but I don't know if you actually go walk out in the pier every once in a while.
The standing rules at 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
The guys in, and anybody that does have a fishing pole in their hand. Apparently. Pretty much.
They have over there in,
Doing it.
Yeah,
at David Hall's office, he got a big old screen over there. And he monitors the Chocolate Body Park and a whole lot of other places. Do we have something like that?
No. And he has spent countless dollars on that camera system and the wireless internet to broadcast it. He can sit in his office and watch Magnolia Beach.
He can. I've seen it. I've been over there.
Yeah, the infrastructure to put something like that in is it would take away from all of the other work that we have to do.
But the lighthouse has Wi-Fi, but not all the way to ship here.
Wi-Fi has no internet yet. I still have to put power on the poles before we get our Wi-Fi installed.
Pretty far from that or pretty close?
I have to go out and do it.
Far from that, or you pretty close?
Pretty far.
I got budget to do yet.
But it's getting closer.
On,
What's that was with grant money? I mean, you got a lot of grant money.
yeah,
Yeah.
Is there a reason we don't? I guess it's just a different funding mechanism.
I don't know what
I see it.
funds he used.
Yeah, I don't know that either.
Like, I mean, I know what and it could have been DR money too. I know, the playground was Hurricane Harvey money, but we chose to use it for streets and drainage. And
However,
Who's on council?
gate system
Oh, yeah.
should be starting construction mid-month. And once that's all in place, a lot of that's going to stop.
Okay. Yeah, it will. And that's what people's feedback was. Nobody really seemed concerned about the $5. And especially when I told them about $25
yeah,
a year,
for a year.
there was a lot of receptive. In fact, there was a guy that came from Houston twice that week, within 3 days to go fishing. I guess it's just that good at the end of the pier. That's.
Well, they bring in pretty big, huge.
In this area.
Time of the year.
He just felt like donating, right?
No, I didn't say that
He didn't want to wait for the gates.
So it'll make it easier for Colin because once we put that in and start charging for people to get in there 24/7,
Yeah.
all of that crowd will move to the bayfront,
Oh.
which is more open.
Hey, let me ask you guys, one other thing that the guy mentioned, I didn't know how we could even do this, is like a charging port for phones or something. There's
Oh,
electrical out there.
There is, you can do that. And in fact, I've been looking at that. It's just, they're not cheap, but I didn't know if there was a desire for that, but you can buy little canopy, you can even buy a little, it's like 25,000 or so, little places. Like I said, they're not cheap, but
Yeah.
that you can, they're solar. And and
Power out there already.
So for
I mean, to put any,
White House Beach Pier,
Yes.
it's 280 or 240.
Oh,
It's not 120. That's why there are no outlets on the pier.
Gotcha.
Bayfront Pier,
step it down.
I think there's 2 outlets on it and they can plug their phones in out there.
Okay.
Provided the GFIs haven't gone bad and I've not got a call for that lately, but
Oh, those.
but yeah, I mean, if we got power, I mean, we could create a little charging spot at
Yeah, I
a.
don't know if you want to put a
Table or something.
regular plug, so
sorry.
I don't know what people would plug in there, but just a phone plug would be, because I did see a lot of those solar panels out there.
Don't people have their own adapters? Why would we need to, why don't we just give them an outlet?
I don't
Well, outlet.
see, that's something I never understood because my phone stays in the truck when I'm fishing.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to take my phone out there either.
But there is such a.
When I'm fishing, I don't want to be bothered, so my phone stays in the truck. Otherwise, my wife won't leave me alone.
Yeah. It's something to consider.
That's a good idea.
That is a good idea.
Actually, you put them along the pier, along the rail of the pier there, right? So while you're fishing.
Yeah. Then it falls in the water.
What else? Anything else?
No implied warranties.
Sure there is. I think we're getting. Our brains getting- How are we doing brain wise? Is everybody still? Of course, yeah, just slept. Our furniture and amenities.
Didn't we vote on that recently about getting some new chairs or something?
Yeah, I think where are we at with that?
We have been testing chair covers on chairs. Only to figure out that any of the chairs, other than metal, really won't hold the chair cover, so we're still gonna have to have both of the type of vents that we have. And
Either stay with the metal chairs and use the existing chair covers, or we buy all new chair covers with new chairs.
well, and the thing is, people rent chair covers, we don't provide them except for our own events. So it'll be an issue for all of our renters. So what we were looking at, it was the same ones that the county has in the
Hour.
Not the stackables in the, where they have a stage. The
And
more
we,
the heavy lifetime ones, when we were looking back and forth. We really need two types, and for storage and everything else, be one type that can be used for business, they come in black, so they'll not dirty as quickly. And we don't need as many of those, but then we need some of our old metal ones are still good, a lot of them are, but we need to replace some. And then we need some additional tables, so we were just kind of looking at all of that. And
we need,
Wayne and I had narrowed down the folding chair that we like, the plastic one.
we need 10 of each additional round and rectangular tables in addition to what we've got, and we have to replace about 25 round tables and 15 of the square tables because of damage that they've incurred over the years, so.
Okay. That about it?
That's it.
Okay.
Anybody's got any other
Do we do port?
report?
Let's see, coastal resilience living shoreline. Okay. Grant.
I mean, I can,
Bridge, the marina, Hana Marina's marina.
Dredging.
Again, didn't we just? Oh, no, that was Smith.
no, that was Smith Harbor. I mean, eventually, yeah, we'll need to, dredge out the marina.
Pricey.
So
That I would,
downtown master waterfront plan, what's in that?
Okay, we're,
Smith Harbor, is that the? That's the,
yeah, that, I mean, that's the one we're working on.
that's the grant, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yes.
Sandbat bulkhead, didn't we do the bulkheads a while back, or did we just do?
This was something we had put on there several years ago. When we did do the lower dock, this is what it was gonna cost to sandblast and recoat the bulkhead. We did what we did at the time, we did point repairs on it,
Okay.
but this was what it would cost if we wanted to sandblast the whole thing and recoat the.
This is port, this would be port funds,
Mhm.
okay.
I mean, we'll get, check and get another assessment and see if it still needs to be done or not. Now, repairs to Evelyn Seafood Dock, and we did make some repairs at the time that didn't cost that much, and that may have, because again, this came from like 3 years ago or so. We did make some repairs that may put this off where it may be good enough for now.
So is there still, I mean, did we get all the back, the underwash and all that, the holes and stuff, all that's fixed then on the bulkhead?
On the low docks, yeah, Evelyn's, I'm not sure. I mean, I know we repaired all the rusting on the top. I'll check with Jim. I don't know if we've still have any problems with anything
And then
coming in
on
underneath.
the other side, like where the bilge pump and stuff was, there's nothing over there that requires maintenance, or there is?
I mean, that is concrete dock,
Right.
but there is some washout that occurs behind there that we take care of it as it happens, but
I'm just curious, that's more maintenance than not
yeah,
capital.
so. And again, that at the Harbor Refuge, that voluntary restoration, that's part of that $9.1 million we're supposed to be getting. As well as the replacing the metal culverts.
Where we at on that?
Waiting, GLO.
They haven't gotten back to you?
It's always hurry up and wait, right?
I mean, we got a new grant person. I just found out yesterday that somebody new has been assigned, so maybe that means I'm gonna get something done.
Okay.
Okay. That about it?
Oh, the only other question, I'm looking at page 44, the souvenir coin press, did we just Do we buy it or we would just cancel it?
We-
The company that we were gonna buy it from went bankrupt.
And we haven't been able to find another one that was, so we ended up using that for the landscaping.
Okay.
Looks good.
Yeah.
Ready.
What happened to the ADA ramp on that?
School district is doing that project for us and waiting for school to be out. And so I know they were out there because I saw paint
Okay.
ran out. So,
Temporary.
they should be, what we're waiting on is they're working on together a materials list for us. We'll buy the materials. Do it, but I know they were looking at trying to get started by mid-June. The county did the
Yeah.
deck and the school district was gonna do the 8A ramp for us.
The motion to adjourn?
Sure.
Motion, second,
Thank y'all.
you second, good meeting.
I'll say. Listen.
Motion is second.
Yes.
Motion, you second that? Any opposed? You're not opposed, motion passes. We had one, it was 1-0.
Hey, not piggyback onto Rose's stop signs.